Tēnā koutou katoa. Nau mai whakahoki mai ki te kōnai ipurangi nei a tū tāne, ko Apa Wātini tōku ingoa. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Becoming Tāne podcast. My name is Apa Wātini. I'm so happy you could join me again on Becoming Tāne podcast. It has been such a long time. It wasn't my intention to wait so long before I brought out another season. However, the gap has allowed me to do a couple of things. It's allowed me to review the podcast and also to review my intention of the whole Becoming Tāne kaupapa. Now that I have somewhat figured that out, I'm much clearer on where I'm heading. When I started the podcast, it was just a goal of mine to do it. It was a bit scary, but I just wanted to give it a go and have a try. Once I did it, it felt like I could tick off one of my goals and then move on to something else. However, I received lots of good feedback from people about the podcast that I know I needed to do it again. It was just a matter of when. I had lots of excuses for why it was taking so long to come out with another season, but at the end of the day, it boiled down to just me being a little bit scared to climb that figurative mountain again. I had to remind myself that this podcast was about men sharing their stories and for other men to possibly learn from and then apply those lessons into their own life. And so having to remind me about that made me more motivated to get a new season out there. Earlier this year, I attended a landmark forum, and one of the many lessons I learned from that forum was about stories. It was about the stories that we tell ourselves and about the stories we tell to others. Usually in the stories that we tell others is how we make meaning out of life. And that was quite a powerful learning lesson for me, and it reinforced the importance of a forum to tell stories, and hence why the need for Becoming Tāne and the podcast is really important to me. So the need for the podcast to continue to grow and to develop is really important to ensure that it is viable. And so to make the podcast viable, I needed to find some income to keep it going. And so one of the ideas that I have decided to implement in this season's podcast was that of merchandise. So I have some merchandise and it can be found on my website. My website is www.becomingtane.men. That is BECOMINGTANE.MEN. In there on the merchandise tab, you can find the t-shirts that I'm looking to sell. I will also be looking at other merchandise other than t-shirts to sell through the website. So stay tuned. I'll let you know throughout the season as to what will be sold via our website. The intention is to sell men's products. So come along and jump on the Becoming Tāne waka. I have some really cool interviews in store for you this season. Again, subscribe to the podcast on whatever podcast platform you're on. You can find us on Facebook at Becoming Tāne and also on Instagram at Becoming Tāne. And we have a new email this season. It is becomingtane@gmail.com. That is becomingtane@gmail.com. Again, thanks for choosing to listen to the Becoming Tāne podcast. Kia pai tōra.